I will not sit inside the studio telling you about how amazing this rain jacket is, or stand in the shower or getting sprayed by a garden hose as a test and then tell you guys if this, the world's lightest rain jacket, will keep you dry or not.
No.
Instead, I will base my review and share my experience of using it on the trail. We had some really hard rain, really strong winds, and this I would say was the perfect conditions for trying out a rain jacket to see if it really works or not. So stay tuned for a hiker's review of the world's lightest rain jacket, the RAB Phantom. I don't know if you have seen my latest episode from my hike up in the northern parts of Sweden or not, but I totally recommend you checking it out. It is really hard to film in such bad weather, but it might at least give you some idea what we went through. We had really strong winds and really hard rain several days, so perfect conditions to try my new rain jacket or pullover, the RAB Phantom. I will today go through the specs, the features, and in the end give you my honest opinion about this jacket, if it is worth buying or not. Now when it comes to the specs, the reason looking into this jacket is because of the specs. It has amazing specs. The Phantom weighs in at only 86 grams in size medium, making it the world's lightest rain jacket. I'm 180 centimeters long, weighing in at 80 kilos, and I'm wearing the size extra large that weighs in at merely 101 grams. Now, the reason for me choosing the extra large and not the large version is for me to have room underneath for my puffy jacket, for it not to get too squashed. And still, puffy nice to be able to keep me warm. And this is how it looks if used together with my Cumulus plank light. The Phantom is made of a fabric called 7D Pertex Shield. A 2.5 layer fabric with a hydrostatic head of 20,000 millimeters and a breathability or MVTR of 20,000 grams per square meter during 24 hours. And if you don't know what MVTR stands for, it's moisture vapor transmission rate. Both of these are high, and twice as high if compared to another very popular ultralight rain jacket, the OMM Halo Smock. The zipper is what they called a deep venting calendared YKK zipper with an internal waterproof zip guard. Now, I had no idea what a calendared zipper was, so I had to look it up. But it is basically a zipper made out of a fabric that has been pressed in between two hot and heavy rolls. That flattens the fabric, closes the weave and making it more wind and waterproof. Now we know. This is not a full-featured rain jacket with pit zips and pockets or any other bells and whistles. This is a jacket made for being minimalistic and lightweight. But lightweight over features beats it for me every single time, because I will always bring it to stay prepared, but it will sit in my backpack like 99% of the time, and therefore lightweight is super important. Regarding the features, it has taped seams, a tight hood with a stiffened peak, which is nice, so you will have a bit of protection also for your face, at least if the rain is coming from above and not from the sides. It also has slightly stretchy fabric and pre-curved elbows for a good freedom of movement, extended cuffs to keep your hands warm if needed, and a reflective branding. And finally, it also comes with a stuff sack, and if you stuff your jacket in there, it doesn't get any bigger than an orange. I don't use stuff sacks because I believe it is just added weight, but if you do, I think it is nice that they included one for easier being able to stay organized. Now to the more interesting part about this jacket, what I like and what I don't like, and how it performed out on the trail, and if it kept me dry or not, because that is like the #1 reason buying a rain jacket, right? But if we start with the wind, I don't normally use a rain jacket to protect me from the wind, and instead use a separate wind jacket like the Craft ADV wind jacket. And the reason for that is not to get any unnecessary wear on this jacket, for it to be waterproof when I need it to be. But for this hike, when it was mostly rain and when it finally stopped for a couple of minutes, I'd never changed to the wind jacket and instead kept it on at all time. And my experience, because of its high breathability, it is not as windproof as one being less breathable, like the OMM Halo Smock. Perfect when going uphill, but not as nice when the cold wind hits you. Not a big problem for us during this hike, because we mainly hiked in temperatures between 10 to 16 degrees, but if colder, this is something to be aware of. Now when it comes to if it kept me dry or not, well, it did. Almost. Well, let's put it this way. The RAB Phantom kept me dry to the extent that it did its job, so to speak. When hiking in rain during extended periods of time, sooner or later you will get wet no matter what rain gear that you have. and a lot of people do agree to this. So when I felt a little bit of water dripping in from the zipper after like 9 to 10 hours in heavy rain, that was to be expected. And I have yet to find a zipper that doesn't leak, and one of the reasons I prefer a pull-on in front of the full zipper jacket. Another thing that is expected is to be wet around the waist where you have the hip belt, if not by water, by your own sweat. And that is difficult sometimes to know what is what. Anyways, I was a little bit wet around the waist, but not by much. Another area when you can expect a little bit of problems is the shoulders because of the pressure from the shoulder straps. Here I didn't feel a thing and I was completely dry all the time. The other days when they had less rain, or at least not constant rain, but instead very strong winds, I kept completely dry, and that was despite when it rained, it came down so hard it felt like standing in a shower. So what I'm trying to explain here is that this jacket kept its promise and worked as good as one can expect from a rain jacket. It kept me dry enough to stay warm, and its breathability, maybe not building up too much sweat from within, despite the effort put into the climbs at times. So what I like about this jacket and what I don't like is, I don't like the zipper. They should know by now that they need a piece of fabric to cover the zipper from the outside to prevent it from leaking, even if using a waterproof zipper. You can see this on a lot of other rain jackets, not focusing too much on weight, and I hope it also finds its way back to the lighter options. The fabric is soft and nice and all, but wow, it is like super thin, and one can wonder if it will hold up to the wear and tear of the use in the long run. Although being in the normal price range of rain jackets, I still find it to be a little bit expensive at $200 or about 2,000 Swedish crowns. The colors, I mean a black and a bright orange, I mean what's wrong with just blue? The things I like, on the other hand. The hood is amazing and a perfect fit. And it stays put also in stronger winds and follow your head movements great. And the little stiffened peak makes for a good addition and protects your face a little bit. The general fit is also great, and the stretchy fabric gives you full freedom of movement. The long sleeves makes for a good protection also for your hands. One can nothing but love the weight on this jacket, and after all, it is the world's lightest rain jacket. And on top of that, also highly waterproof and with a really nice breathability. Like you can understand based off what you have heard here today, I give this jacket 2 thumbs up. And I personally find it difficult to find a good and reliable rain jacket that doesn't cost a fortune. And even if this one isn't for free, it is far from being the most expensive option. So I can nothing but to recommend you checking this one out. Now I hope you have enjoyed today's episode and the review of the RAB Phantom rain jacket or rain pullover, and that I have covered what you wanted to know about this jacket. But if not, just leave a comment and I will come back to you as soon as I can. But for now, this is it, and if you liked today's episode, take a look at these 2 recommendations on my other videos. Also do hit like, subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any future content. I hope to see you again next week, but for now, take care, safe hiking and bye bye.